Hello, today I'll be reviewing the game Ticket to Ride, Europe Edition. This is the front cover of the box, and what I'll be doing is I'll be going over some of the pros and cons of this game and some secrets that may not be obvious. So stick around for that. This is a great game. I first played this in 2015 or 2016. I played a lot of board games that year. This one was one of my favorites, and so I decided to purchase it. It looks complex because there's a lot going on, but it's actually a really simple game, which is why this is for ages 8 and up. It plays for 2 to 5 people, and the games last 30 to 60 minutes. I think for me, I found that this does work with 2 players. I've played it just me and my wife. We had a great time. I have played it with a big group of people of 5, and it was also fun. It gets a little bit harder with 5 people, but there are rules that help you make it easier than compared with 2 people. So it does come with this extra little advertisement for different games by the maker here, Days of Wonder. So there are a lot of good other games that they have. So that's just an advertisement. Same with this. The box is really nice. I like this. This is the back cover of the box. So you have a couple of the little meeples or tokens here. Those you put on the edge of the map, and they will calculate your score for you, so you don't have to keep track in your head. You can just move things along the board as you go, and you can see it goes all the way across and over to the final spot of 100, which is covered up. So this makes it really easy to keep track of your score. You do scoring at the end of the game. And let's see what else. So you have, each player will get a color here, and I'll show an example of how to play the game. And then each player can have up to 3 stations during a game. So let me set this up real quick, and then I'll go through how to play the game. Okay, so I've gone ahead and set up a couple of trains here on the map just to showcase a scenario here. We'll get to that in a second. There are a couple different types of cards here. So in the game, there's a big stack of these train cars, and they come in red, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, black, and white. And then these are the locomotive cards. These are wilds. They're the rainbow cards. And the way these work is they can be any card, but they also have some special abilities, which I'll get to. This is a giant stack of these cards. So I think there's like 13 of each color card in there, so a lot of cards. You have what are called destination tickets, and these are routes that you're trying to connect. So this says Athena to Wilno, and so here's Athena, and then this will show you where it is up here. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so Athena to Wilno, Athena to Wilno up here. So you want to go all the way from here all the way up there. And if you connect that route, then you would get 11 points, right? And so what happens is each player is given some of these cards to begin, and then they're given 3 of these. They can choose to keep anywhere from 2 to 3. You have to have at least 2 of your destination cards at a time. Everyone is given a long route. These look the same on the back, but on the front they're blue. These are long routes. They're obviously, as the name suggests, longer, so they will take you across the board, and they're worth more points. At the end, there's scoring here. It will tell you how to score things. But then finally, you have whoever has the longest continuous train on the board will get a bonus 10 points. So this is just to track that someone's getting those 10 points. All right, so the way the game works is on your turn, you'll have five of these train cars that are set up and they're face up. So on your turn, you could take two of these two cards that are shown, or you could take two from here. Now, the thing is, if there's a wild, you can only take one wild. So it's possible that the wild could be the next card here. And if you take this as your first card, you still get to take a second train card. Look at that. That was lucky. Okay. So you could, as that just happened to show, you could get two wild cards by drawing here if it happened to be there. But if it's here, then you can only draw one, and that counts as your turn. And then as you're drawing cards, so let's say I take this, you replace that one with the next card, and then let's say I take that. So that works. Okay, so you can draw cards on your turn. That's one thing you can do. You can also draw a destination ticket. You can draw, I don't remember, 2 or 3, but you have to keep at least one of the destination cards when you pick them up. The goal is to connect as many of these cities as you can to get these points, but also to try and get the longest train, because that's how you get the most points. Now, there are a couple of things on the map. So each route, like for example, this one is yellow, and that one's red, green, black, right? As you're drawing these cards, when you collect, say, 2 yellows, you can lay down 2 yellow cards, 2 train cards, and then you can place your train on here. It has to connect to your train, so you can't really have a free-floating. And you can't have another route. So if I have the yellow route here, the red player can't also put a route here. The exception is these double routes. So red has this purple route. That would mean yellow could use this yellow route. If you're playing only 2 or 3 players, you are not supposed to play the double routes. So that's kind of a home rule if you want to allow that on 2 or 3 player games. The other thing is, you'll see here there are some gray. Those are free, so you can use any 4 cards, train cards, of the same color in order to take that route. And then obviously a wild would count as one of these as well. There are these are called tunnels. And so, where's a tunnel? Here's a tunnel. Here's a ferry. And so when you have a ferry that crosses a body of water, you have to play the number of locomotives, so the number of wild cards that are displayed. So, for example, if I want to take this one, I have to play 1 locomotive card, and then I can play any other card for the second gray. On this route, however, it has 2 ferry cards, so I'd have to lay 2 of these locomotive cards to get that route. So that's another interesting thing to note, because those routes, so this one crosses near the water, but it's not like that. Moving over to this side, I did mention that there are the tunnels. This is a tunnel route here in gray. What that means is you have to play 4 cards of the same color. So let's say I play 4 orange cards. And then what'll happen is you'll draw 3 cards from the deck. And then if any of these are orange, so we didn't get any orange, but we got a locomotive, a wild. So that means the player has to play 1 more orange card in order to get this tunnel, right? Basically what that's saying is, oh, you're digging underground, this is harder to lay that, so you have to lay 1 more, so you just contribute 1 more. You can decide not to take it after drawing the 3 cards. You just discard these, and then the player can take their orange cards back that they initially laid for the route. So unless you actually lay the route, you don't have to discard your cards. All right, and so the last thing, like I mentioned, you can't lay, so the red cannot lay a track here, and the yellow cannot lay a track here. But let's say I needed to connect this city all the way to that city, right? Well, I'm already over here. This might be the shortest path, especially if I already have some yellows. So what I can do is I can use one of my tickets, and I can place a train station here. You get up to 3 per game, so there are 3 yellow stations. So if I laid a yellow here, I can then use that without laying. I can use one of the routes from this station occupied by another player in order to continue my train. So on my next turn, I could lay 3 yellow cars down and connect it. So that would make my train 3 longer than it actually is. So I'm using the other player's pieces to help me complete my route. So that's basically how you play the game. At the end, you just figure out how many of your routes in your hand that you have completed, and then figure out who has the longest, and then just calculate the score and add it up as you go. Whoever has this highest score wins at the end. So the pros of this game, the artwork is really nice. I like the look of the cards. I like the geography. They're kind of interesting. This is a very simple game to actually play and understand. You can add homebrew rules. Like I said, you can make it so that if you're playing 2 or 3 people, you can do the doubles. I don't usually play with the tunnel rule, and I don't usually play with the ferry rule. I just make these wilds because it makes it a little bit easier when you're playing casually with family. It's really nice that everything comes in its own bag so that things aren't free floating. I have the pieces up here, but they actually have their own bag. So nothing is free floating, which is really nice. Everything is really organized. Some of the cons of this game is that it does take 30 to 60 minutes, and so sometimes that is quite long. I'm not sure if there's a way that you could speed it up with a homebrew rule. Perhaps you can make it so that you can draw more cards per turn if you needed to get through a game quickly. I will note that this says it's for ages 8 and up. I think the reason they say 8 is simply because of the math involved at the end and some of the strategy. I have played this with my 4-year-old, and she likes to lay the trains. She does understand to draw the train cards on her turn. She understands how to lay them according to the color that she has. So it is something that a 4-year-old can understand and can play. She needs a little bit of help, and she can't do the math at the end, but she doesn't really care if she wins. We just tell her she does anyways, although sometimes she does pretty good. So that is one thing I would say is, this is fun for kids under age 8. They just need a little bit of help from those who are playing with them that are older. And so, yeah, that's about all I have to say about this game. It's really fun. Obviously, I played it before I bought it. I liked it so much that I decided to buy it. It's great for socializing because it is pretty casual. So you can carry on a conversation with your friends while you're playing it. But I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.